Bonjour. Hello. Welcome. This is Elden Ring Nightreign, part, I believe, 28, 29, one of those two. Last time we fought Fisher in the fog for the first time, and we actually beat him first try, so that was pretty neat. And I didn't show it last time, because I kind of forgot that we get one, but nearby Frostbite Conceals Self changes compatible armaments skill to Chilling Mist, and attack power up when facing frostbite afflicted enemy. And it's yellow, which is the rarest of the four. Yellow and blue, in my experience, are both pretty rare, whereas green and red are pretty common. But yellow rare, that's good, and it has three effects that just on paper don't sound that good, but they all complement the same single playstyle, and I think together it can be pretty decent. I also checked the garb and the journal, didn't see anything new in them, so we can head straight into Night Aspect. Effective, I believe that is holy. Beyond the boundless night, there lies the hazy figure of a person. That is the night's origin and enemy to the world. The signs shall reveal where the footsteps of the primordial Nightlord lead. And we can head in. It's the final Nightlord, so I feel like they're gonna be pretty crazy. Considering the game only dropped with 8 new bosses, being the 8 different Nightlords. And once I beat Night Aspect, I'm probably going to do a few non-recorded runs of Fisher in the Fog and Night Aspect in order to see all the side bosses, like the Night 1 and 2 bosses. And then I'll give my, I'll do a video giving my opinion on all the garbs, along with a video giving my opinion on all of the bosses. Not including the Everdark Sovereign variants, because as of this point, we've only seen 3. But hey, matchmaking complete. Part of me wants to go with Iron Eye, because he's my main guy. But part of me wants to go with Wilder, because he's, like, the main character. But I'm more comfortable with Wilder, or I'm more comfortable with Iron Eye, and someone already picked Wilder, so I think we can head in. And I normally skip these cutscenes, but this time I'm not going to, since this is the final Nightlord. And it's only 2 cutscenes that last like 30 seconds, so I'm not like holding the team hostage for 10 minutes. I'm a little worried though, especially since I don't really have experience with the Shifting Earth. This new one, I did it. I've done it for Wilder's quest, his remembrance. My God. This is a very different color palette from what we saw in the air. Well, that looked beautiful. That, like, golden hue. God, it looked incredible. Yoink. I stole it because I'm evil. Is someone else gonna lead, or am I gonna lead? They didn't place a pin, but this Duchess uh, immediately started booking it, so... Probably just heading into the fort. Yep. No need to ping something that we're so close to already, I suppose. Ow. My soft, tender bones. I was about to say, now hold on a minute. I'm just a silly little guy. With my silly little bow. You wouldn't swing a greatsword at a silly little guy with his bow, would you? It's just like with glasses. I'm gonna drop that, because that's useless to me. Ooh. I looked at this because it was a greatsword. And then I saw improved ranged weapon attacks and went, oh, yes, please. It's only 7%. I've also seen 10 and 14% a decent bit. That's a magma worm. Personally, for this one, I'd say kill the field boss first. Always kill the field boss first. Because if you try doing the Everjail, you'll have an Everjail boss, and then you're inevitably going to attract the field boss. And then you're going to be... That looked like a bit of lag. But then you're going to be fighting a field boss and an Everjail boss. And you don't want that. You should just fight the field boss first. Always. And if you're not comfortable fighting the field boss, don't fight the Everjail boss. Because if you're not comfortable with fighting the field boss by themselves, you're definitely not going to be comfortable fighting them alongside an Everjail boss. I rolled too late. Ooh. I was gonna say, we can help shoot them to get them back up. Okay. Played a little sloppy, made a little mistake. I am experiencing a little bit of lag, but I don't think the lag is enough to, like, be the cause of that. I think that was legitimately just a mistime on my part. Oh, hello. None of these are good. Okay. So, they also have, or at least had, a stone sword key. Broke the mark and immediately replied it. You'll love to see it. Phase 2 transition, and dead. And they picked up those. 20k runes is way better. But I was just going to drop those to show the teammate that I have them. But I think they already had one, they just got automatically absorbed. Search. gonna buy those two because having warming stones is always very nice. Yeah. I would rather not lead if possible, but I see church. I like church. Warming stone. I like warming stone. And because we all went here, I can take off the pin to avoid any confusion. I was about to say, where did they go? We can take out this guy. That is not useful to me. Maybe useful to Duchess, since she has high intelligence. But run over here. This is also not useful to me, but I can drop it to Duchess soon. Into that because it's on the way. I'm gonna pin, like drop that and pin that. And I think she picked it up. And yeah, Duchess isn't very good at stance breaking or doing poise damage, and neither is Iron Eye, but Wilder is pretty good at that. Which is why I'm focusing on the same enemy as Duchess. Because Wilder can hold his own. I thought that I had my skill ready. Oh, ooh. Little bit of lag. Raise his physical attack. Moving on. We hit that so I can take my pin off. And we can move on. Now, earlier in this series, my character was super jiggly joggly. And now here's the bosses that are being jiggly joggly. How the tables turned. Less likely to be targeted. I will happily take that. There's another boss right here. And methinks Duchess wants to go for that, so we can go for that. We can absolutely do that. What is it? A Miranda flower? Boom. Mark them. I'm gonna take out these baby enemies. Because children are the product of the devil. Okay. Brute affinity attack power. Not useful right now, but it might be useful later. Dun 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 dun. I was not expecting to see so many enemies, so that's better. Boost HP restoration from flasks, yes please. And yeah, my first and second relics both increase attack power with each Everjail cleared. So I am always happy to run more Everjails. I'm always happy to do more damage. They're running in a very different direction. They're turning, however. I'm not too sure what they're about. Ow. Oh, hi. I was not expecting to find a raider. And I am so glad that Wilder showed up because Raider is a big boy. We can do that, clear them. Drop that in case he wants that, because it's not useful to us at all. Raise stamina recovery speed. Check that. We do not have time to be standing around anymore. It is time to go. Stone Sword Key. So I can pick that up. And I will drop it to the Duchess once we have time. Probably once we hit there. For now, she got that encampment. Oh, it's off to the side. Whoops. Ah, it's the Banished Knights. I'm also going to go over my thoughts and opinions on all these different areas. The ruins, the encampments. In a part sometime. That. Jump over here. We can worry about actually looking at the bow once we get the safety. 71 is a 94. So, better damage. Unfortunate. Oh, Miss Duchess. Duchess is not moving. I know that there's enemies behind us, but I like my pocket change. Oh, the enemies are getting jiggly too. Yeah, I think it is just a bit of lag. Thankfully, Duchess is the one who got looked at and shot several times. Now, you may notice that I'm not really using my ult, and there are two reasons for that. That's the best of the three. The first is that I'm saving it for in case a teammate goes down. And the second is because I'm just not very good at using my ult. Not actually pressing the button, but just remembering to use it in a timely manner. I don't know why, but if anything has a cooldown longer than like 10-15 seconds, I'm just like, I will never use this. We can hit that, we can hit that, maybe hit that, then head into here. Oh yay, my teammates are agreeing with me. Not not saying that they wouldn't, because of course they would. It's two churches right next to each other, basically. But still. Some teammates are a little weird sometimes. Yeah. Uh, I'm gonna pop that, so that way I have the free slot to pick up the Stone Sword key. In case they're pinging that. Yeah, because that was placed by the Wilder, who saw me drop the Stone Sword key. So, hello, Mr. Sir. I'm placing that just in case. He's assuming I still have it. Nope. One of them had a Stone Sword key still. Wonderful news. We can do that. Look how much damage that did. Okay, so that means it would have been better to keep the gold pickled foul foot. But that's fine. Iron Eye isn't really a stance break character. Ooh, there's that, but that's on the other side of the map. And we've already hit that, so I can get rid of that pin. That's something I'm a big advocate for, is just, once you hit a location, get rid of the pin. Please ignore that. I think once you touch any of the bubbles, you can get teleported. I don't think you have to go to the location. Just as long as you touch any of the bubbles, you will be fine. Broke the mark, and they're super low to the ground, so we can just mark them again. I feel like that should have hit me, but I'll take it, I'll take it. The mark is close to being broken. The mark went away. Right. So we just do good damage. I know that I'm not dodging that attack ever, but 51k, wow. That's fantastic. Flask also, using Flask also restores FP. Alright, I don't have time for his pin, and thankfully he agreed. We can just move on. Also, the fact that I have 6 warming stones already, I'm feeling pretty good about that. Feeling that both teammates are with me. There's one. They're over there. Ow. Oh. Alright. I assumed that Duchess was gonna fight with us, but they ran in, so I'm also going to run in. And thankfully, while there is following, I'm going to do something real quick because it is very warm in my room right now. I don't know why, but it is. Probably because I have the window closed, but good. While there's following. But continuing on, there's an Estelle thing there. We can... Oh, I did not want to go up. Yeah, Wilder's close enough to where I don't have to drop any pins. And we can just keep on moving. But the Estelles, the ones that hang from the ceiling, we can kill them as pocket change while we're waiting. Like, waiting for the circle to come to its final conclusion. Wrong direction. That's in here. I went left because I usually kill the troll, and then you need to go off to the left. So I went the wrong direction once, and he went the wrong direction once. Alright, but Duchess decided beeline straight for the full Estelle instead of taking things one at a time. Could not have been a better time to get here. I mean, getting here right as they went down. I'm gonna have to thank them for getting, I'm gonna have to thank them for staying alive until we got here. Not all teammates have that courtesy. And with that, they go down. We got a lot. I don't care for that. So, power gained. Favor of Noklateo. Rise from near death unaided a single time. Yep. Alright, so I'm assuming that we can change this with the collector signboard. Just watch them get a lance to the back. Ooh, that was good. I mean, they're a teammate, but that lance to the back was a spectral lance, which is a skill. And it just so happens to be one of my favorite skills in all of Elden Ring. And because Elden Ring is the second game with, like, actual skill to the whole thing, and the first one where I actually really used them, that means that it's one of my favorite skills in the series. Just kind of by default. So, yeah. Improved charge sorceries. Less likely to be targeted, I'll take that. I was hoping this would be Wilder's greatsword. Because I love Wilder's greatsword. It is an incredible looking weapon. Also, I didn't know that you could jump up from there. So, that information is new to me. Sometimes the randoms are good. It's physical attack. Sometimes they're good. Sometimes they can help you gain some good information. We're just gonna... This is not a smart idea, by the way. But I'm not a man of smart ideas. Of ideas, yes, but not smart ideas. Very different. Raises physical attack. Excuse me, I'm trying to level up. Meanie. If that had hit me, I would have been fully okay with laughing at myself for being an idiot. For getting sniped by a page. We can drop down here. We can jump up here. We can jump up here. Oh, we're not doing any damage to them, which means that we don't have the range for that. Can we buy? No. We already bought two. Ever so slightly unfortunate. That boss right there, I believe, is always Loretta. At least every time I've ever seen them, they've been Loretta. Okay. But unfortunate. I've got 6 warming stones, which is pretty good. But I don't think we're gonna hit level 15. Because the Night 2 boss gets... They give like 40k. And... we need 50. I mean, maybe the additional enemies will be enough. That looks like Loretta to me. Oh, these things again. So are we getting Nameless King again then? Or, no, Nameless King was one of these things, but with the curved greatsword, and then a dragon. That variant. It was one of those ones, and the dragon. Alright, so what are we getting then? Ancient? Ancient Dragon is one we've seen before. I was thinking, I'm pretty sure I've seen this before. This, like, pre-night boss group of enemies. It's from one of the first 4. I think one of the first 2 even. One of the first 2 Nightlords. Because every boss, or like every Nightlord, has a small selection of Night 1 and 2 bosses that they can roll from. I've been recording the last two parts cross-legged, and so my foot fell asleep. So I'm gonna not sit cross-legged anymore. Because if I can't sleep, neither can my foot. Them's the rules. Mark them. Get some easy guaranteed hits in. Kill them. A second boss would be nice. Lightning upon dodging. There's no second boss. There's usually a group of demi-humans out over here. Oh, this'll work. So 75. It takes just over 75 for the final level. Meaning we'll have roughly 15k left. Just enough. Crimson Burst Crystal Tier is better than 2 Warming Stones in my opinion, but we get what we get. We were 10k away. But here, we can head into the final Nightlord. And this will be my first time ever fighting them. I mean, technically speaking, I have seen them before in like a half-second clip. But I've never fought them before. Never seen or watched any, like, runs of them. So, we'll see how this goes. I imagine they're gonna be pretty crazy. I don't see them being like... I don't see them being like the previous boss. It was weirdly easy. I see a guy. The shape of the night. Looks like he has a greatsword and a greatsword on his back. He seems... Alright, this is definitely just the precursor phase 1 to something crazy. He pulled the sword off his back. Does he have 3 arms? Because it's either that or he has 2 arms on one side. He has 3 arms. Alright, so... I was not ready for that at all. Because he hadn't looked at me a single time so far. When he did look at me, he went for it. That's not it. There's a second health bar, I know. Ooh. Oh, purple sword. Can we has? How'd I know there's gonna be a projectile? That looks incredibly cool. There are things on the ground and I'm not liking it. I don't know if it's just flavor looks or if it's something to avoid. Oh, well, that's something to avoid. Oh, and he can teleport small distances. I'm just gonna... Probably shouldn't have gotten lightning while dodging. Because it can make it harder to see. Ooh. Heolstor the Nightlord. I'm just being safe. It's better to be safe than dead. Okay. Oh, pretty, so that's what I was looking at. I was looking at the pretty thing. I was ready to be shot. Or bombed. But, yeah, that thing right there, that's what I saw. The half-second clip of. It looks very cool. I wish that you could get a telescope in this game. It wouldn't serve any practical purpose, but... Ooh. Just being able to turn your HUD off and look at the things. Which I'm gonna try to do that. Sir, I'm not used to getting attention. Alright, that was a very big attack. And I'll get rid of the thing. I was gonna turn the HUD off and aim at it. Oh, this looks very pretty. I'm assuming that's a thing of, like, you need to do enough stance damage in order to stun them out of some massive attack. I'm assuming that's what that is. Ooh. Hello, good sir. I would like if you didn't look at me. Oh, he's doing it again. He's ripping over. That's frenzy. You shouldn't be doing frenzy. Oh my god, how did we survive that? That was just barely enough health to survive that. Oh. Alright, let's see. HUD off. Nightlord slain, Night Aspect, and Nightlord conquer. Defeat all Nightlords. Yeah, that is beautiful. Oh, that's blinding. My eyes! I looked this way, turned around, 316, boom, it's there. Both of my teammates are gone. Yep, it's just me. Oh, it's a round table hold. I'm assuming this is something to do with the ending. Why did I get a flask back? Me getting that flask back has made me unreasonably paranoid. I feel like if the game is giving me a flask back, Not a flashback, but a flask back. Although this kind of looks like a flashback. But if it's giving me a flask back, I feel like it's gonna mean a fight. This looks very cool. This is another visual for the round table hold. And as I said earlier, really hoping that you can use the collector signboard to change between the different looks for the round table hold. Get me out of here. Get me out of here. I can't lock on to it. I am not doing that. Get me out of here. If I'm left with no other choice, if I jump off with that... Let me out of this prison! I never pointed it out before, but there have always been, like, giants, or, like, spirits of giants walking off in the background of expeditions. I wonder what that's about. I've never been super big on lore in these games, but I hope someone makes a video explaining that. But we have no other choice. Offer the Nightlord's rune or clench dagger. I'm gonna clench the dagger. I want to see what that's about. Truly wields the blade. Truly make this offering. I'm gonna clench the dagger. I want to see what that's about. Oh, it's his marking knife.
The night is far from over.
Is that specific? Is that specific to Iron Eye? Or do we want to skip this? I won't. I'll let this play out. And we can give our thoughts about that. So, ooh, wow. First of all, the boss. Didn't learn them at all when I first tried them. I feel like that was the teammates. Because the two less likely to be targeted definitely saved me big time. Same with getting a bunch of warming stones. If I had teammates that weren't as good, easy loss. If I didn't get as many warming stones, probably a loss, or at least more deaths on my part. So, the less likely to be targeted definitely put in big work there, and was a big part of that, but also meant that I didn't learn the boss super much. But as a first impression, they definitely did their job as a final boss. They looked very cool. They, I may not sound it, but that built a lot of hype. I can't really sound it because it's like 2, 3 in the morning. There are people sleeping, and I want to be considerate. But that was a good spectacle, but also a good fight. And something that I've talked about and will talk about a lot more, especially during the Elden Ring single weapon class runs, is I care about a pure fight far more than I care about a pure spectacle. And I really don't like fights, or I really don't like bosses that go so hard into the spectacle that they end up diminishing from the fight itself. That boss definitely had spectacle to it, but it didn't take away from the fight itself. Kind of gave me Gale vibes. With like the broken greatsword, the throwing themselves around like an animal, the two different phases which felt very distinct and different. The like AoE type stuff, needing to watch out for hazards that spawn as the fight goes on. The both quality spectacle and very quality fight. That felt very Gale coded to me, which is a very good thing. So, even though I didn't really learn the boss, that felt very good. And even though my opinions on bosses tend to change drastically as I actually learn them by beating them several times, that was definitely very promising. And I feel like I'm going to continue liking them. Because something I've noticed is, not always, but a decent amount of the time, a boss that I like at the beginning, I end up liking less as time goes on. Because I like them the first time because they didn't feel frustrating. Then I like them less over time because they feel a bit simple or a bit too easy as I get better. And then bosses that I tend to not like a lot in the beginning, I tend to like more over time as I learn them because I get better at fighting them and I understand them and I understand the intricacies. But that boss, I liked them starting out, and I feel like I'm going to continue liking them. Maybe even liking them more as I actually learn them. We'll see, this is just my first impression, but really like the two different greatswords that they wielded. Really like how one had projectiles. It felt kind of Moonlight greatsword, but it was like a dark purple black instead of the blue. And it had one like straightforward projectile that looked kind of like Night Comet. Or Night Shard. I forget what it's called. But it's a sorcery in Elden Ring. The one where he like thrust his sword forward and sent out a straightforward projectile instead of like a curved bladed projectile. Kinda gave me that sorcery vibes. So it's actually a bit unique compared to the Moonlight Greatswords we've seen in all the previous games. And I think it looked really cool. I think it played pretty well, even though I had two less likely to be targeted, and they didn't focus on me much. When he did focus on me, it felt pretty natural to avoid, but it didn't feel super easy. And so, great boss, just as a first impression. Good spectacle, good fight, and instead of just ending it here with the credits, I'm going to take a quick look at whatever rewards we get out of that. Knight of the Lord. I get it, I get it. Switching weapons adds an affinity attack. Okay. Boost attack power of added affinity attack. Switching weapons boost attack power. Okay. So, that looks pretty good. Doesn't really fit my playstyle because I don't swap weapons a lot, but if someone can get into the groove of constantly swapping weapons, that'd probably be pretty good. The world after finishing the game. After finishing the game, return to the Round Table Hold to a time when the primordial Nightlord was not yet defeated. Relics and Merc that were held at the end of the game are preserved, and the journey carries on. Memory fragment found, and remembrance. So, I mentioned before, we didn't get remembrance for every character. We didn't get it for Iron Eye or Recluse. Meaning, since we got our remembrance for here, and he's got blood on him, I still prefer darkness. But that means that beating them as Recluse might get us a different ending and a different remembrance. Okay. And then here, all of these have 2 skins that cost 7.5k. I'm just going to buy all these now because pretty sure I have the Merc for it. I'm going to look at them later because I'm going to give my opinion on all of the skins later. Yeah, just a ton of things. But I'm assuming that because it said new memory fragment found, I'm assuming it just means a new chapter. A report written by the Iron Eye addressed to the Fellowship. Isolde, my custodian. You were the finest guardian one could hope for. I desired freedom from the yoke of the Fellowship only because you showed me it was possible. I have only gratitude for you, Master. For now, my night shall never end. And we got a little sketch of him after slaying the Nightlord. So, we still have a sketch, like, the ones to go. There's Wilder, Recluse, and that's it. So, I'm assuming that we're going to get a unique ending for Wilder that'll get him a new page and a sketch. And then one for Recluse that'll get us a new page, a sketch, and a remembrance. Okay. And I saw there were multiple endings because we had 2 choices. So, I'm gonna beat him as Recluse, and then Wilder, and see if there's anything beyond that. But okay. I think we can end it here. We faced the night aspect Night Aspect for the first time, and we beat them thanks to good teammates and good luck. We were able to purchase all of the skins. We got a unique thing for Iron Eye. We got a new page and a sketch for him. Moving forward, I think the next part is going to be me beating Night Aspect with Recluse. And then Wilder. And then maybe one more if there's like another ending, because the first thing might just be like a general ending, and then there's a specific ending for Recluse and Wilder. Whereas the one option that I didn't pick might just be a general ending that all the characters can get. So there'll be a run for Recluse, a run for Wilder, maybe another run for the general ending. And then we'll have a part going through all of these, like all the different garbs, and I'll give my thoughts and opinions on them. And then there will be a part where I go through my opinion on all of the bosses, excluding the Everdark Sovereign variants, because we haven't gotten all of them yet. We've only gotten 3 so far. But alter Great Sight of Grace. Restore Great Sight of Grace to former illuminated state. Requires Sovereign Sigils first time only. Now we have that. Okay, let me look at this. So yeah, this is that, the like grayish, bluish. We can drop 1. The Great Sight of Grace has been altered. Restore Great Sight of Grace to darkened state. Which, no. Okay, so this is how it looked in the beginning. I mentioned before, I wanted to be able to change them. I was kind of hoping for more than just 2. I was hoping for this one, the one that we had just before this, the Remembrance one, the one that we saw while going after the boss, the one where I had the HUD off. That's why I couldn't see my merc while buying the skins. Okay. I was a little confused by that. But I was hoping for that one, and then one more, and then how you can choose to conjure Shift in the Earth, and you have all the different options. I was hoping that you would be able to alter the Great Sight of Grace and just be able to choose between the multiple different options. I'd say overall, I prefer this one a bit more than the other one, just because it's darker and easier on the eyes. And I think that this looks cooler, with like the blue and the white and the black and the fog. Looks very nice. But anyways, I think we can end it here. We made great progress. The fact that I beat Fisher in the Fog first try and Night Aspect first try, kind of crazy. I'm definitely gonna have to play them a bit more to actually learn them, but for now, I think I'm gonna head straight back in and try to learn them some more, and yeah.